I'm not a weightlifter. I'm not, I'm not in a physical, well, actually I'm retired now, but my job was always sales. So, I wasn't like loading and unloading trucks or anything or doing concrete work. So I'm not what I would consider an overly strong guy. I do have a little Malone kayak cart. It's really not made for it. It's actually, I think, made more for a V hull, but it works great. I just set this on it and haven't had any trouble. I had no trouble this morning. I didn't even back my car into the garage. I wheeled the thing down to my driveway and then I wheeled it. You can see ahead, assuming that this thing's somewhat pointed where I hope it is. You can see down there that actually there's some guy getting out with a dog. That's right where my truck's just behind his, the blue one. And I wheeled the thing down the gravel and put it in the lake, and I had no trouble at all. This is 84 pounds or something like that, which my Flint, I believe, was 63. I was actually wondering, how much difference the 20 pounds would make, but I had no trouble at all moving this boat. It handles great, and I didn't really have much interest in doing a walkthrough of the features because all the pro staffers did one of those. Nucanoe's got one on there in their unveiling and stuff. So really there's not much difficulty finding the features. One of them is they got rid of the silly rope handle that they used on the Flint, which I did not like, and they have went to a lift up U-bale shaped metal handle, and it's incredible. It makes this thing handle. This thing handles pretty close to the Flint. I mean, I'm sure that's hard for you to believe, since it's a foot and 3 inches longer and 20-some pounds heavier. But I tell you, it really, if you can handle a Nucanoe Flint, you can handle this. If you can handle pretty much any 10 to 12 foot kayak, I believe you can handle this with no problem. It is, it's not at all a heavy feeling boat. It's not cumbersome. That handle transfers the weight just unbelievably. And it's just, like I say, that was one of my biggest concerns. I told my wife, I hope that I didn't end up trading this off because it was too heavy for me to handle by myself. I've put on a Fire Tiger flicker shad, thrown it out there, and I'm gonna troll over to this bank down here, which, like I say, I've done well on before. I don't know that I will today. If you ever come to Stockton Lake and you want to catch white bass, a Fire Tiger flicker shad, the small one, I don't know which number it is. I think there's a 6, 7, and 8, and I believe this would be the 6. But it is just a notorious white bass killer on this lake. You'll also pick up walleye on it, occasional black bass, a lot of drum, which are unfortunately in this lake. But as you can see from the rod, I am trolling, and I am going, looks like about just a little under 2 miles an hour, which is actually about perfect trolling speed. So who knows if I'll pick one up or not. I'm seeing the occasional fish out here on the flat. I see some fishermen over there. I don't know what they're fishing for. I see a lot of fishermen on the water. Surprises me, actually. Like I say, on Easter, I really thought there would be less fishing pressure. But anyway, I don't know that I'll pick up anything trolling or not, but it is, like I say, a way that I enjoy. I do like fishing this way. I do it in my power boat. My buddies and I do it in their boats, and it's a pretty common white bass method. I don't troll for black bass when I fish for them. I don't fish for black bass a lot, mostly just because I I don't tournament fish or anything, and so I don't fish for black bass a lot. Anyway, I'll turn this back on if I happen to catch one on my trolling there. Again, I've paddled now for, oh, let me see here, I can't tell, it's about 1:15, so another 10 or 15 minutes or so, and I'm not at all tired. I just, like I say, this is, for such a big boat, it's pleasant. My understanding, it's the same width as the Frontier, but it has a much more aggressive nose with a little bit of a different hull shape in the front that's more designed to cut the water instead of for volume. I think when they built the Frontier, they had duck hunters in mind, and what happened was the bass fishermen, especially the tournament bass fishermen, found out what an awesome boat that is for the bass fishermen, and so it ended up probably being much more popular as a fishing boat than it did as a hunting boat, although I think some guys probably use it for both. But anyway, with this one, I think they kind of set their targets to get more of the guys that were going to some of the other fishing kayaks. I think they're trying to get a little of the like the Bonafide SS-127, the Feel Free Lure 13.5, some of those boats. Now, there's a lot of differences. This one has no internal hull storage. It has one small hatch in the back that's just a few inches around, maybe 6 or 7 inches, that looks like it'd be, mostly for access to maybe to putting in some kind of wiring or something like that. It sure doesn't look like it's made to store anything. So anyway, like I say, I think this is designed to be an aggressive competitor with the bigger fishing kayaks, and I think they tried to overcome the paddling shortcomings that the Frontier had, but yet maintain the room inside the kayak as best they could and maintain the stability as best they could. Now, I would imagine, I don't know for sure, but I'd imagine the Frontier is probably slightly more stable with its primary stability, just because, like I say, I believe the nose is wider. I think the tail might be a little wider too, I'm not sure. I know the width in the center at the widest point is the same. I also believe this one's about 6 inches longer. But like I say, to me, it's incredible. I am very pleasantly surprised, because I thought, A, I would have a hard time transporting it, and B, that I would have a real hard time paddling it. Instead, I'm able to sit here and talk to this camera nonstop, probably more than you wanted to hear, and paddle, and it's not any effort at all. Like I say, the wind's not huge, but I'd say right now it's rolling 12 to 15 mile an hour, probably closer to 12, but it's definitely over 10, and I'm going straight into it. And I mean, I'm not having any trouble moving. I'm only going 1.3 mile an hour or something like that. So I've slowed down drastically as I quit paddling to read it, but I believe it was 1.3. But then I'm also just barely even paddling. I mean, I'm not putting any effort at all into it. I think if I had some foot braces, which I don't, see if I can get a place here and try to actually step this thing up for just a second. Now that's a lot more difficult paddle for me, but still nowhere near enough to wind me. I'm going pretty much straight into the wind, maybe off to the right just a little. I turn just a little, and I'm going 2.6 before I let off, so almost 3 mile an hour for, like I say, for an old man that's not a very good paddler.